and good morning to you.
Good morning, and good morning to your cherished listeners and viewers online.
I hope you're doing well.
God has been merciful. We are most grateful to Him.
Thanks to, it's great to have you online. Let me start from the press conference you held yesterday, the NDC held yesterday, addressed by your General Secretary. First of all, why the need?
Can you go to your PC and type or Google out Article 144 for me?
In fact, I think I have it opened already.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Now, it has come to the attention of the party. A letter dated 30th May 2024. Have you seen the letter before?
Yes,
Hello.
I've seen that letter.
Good. Proposal for nominations to the Supreme Court. Correct.
Yes.
Signed by the Chief Justice. Now, can you read Article 1442 for me?
Well, this is the Article 1442 says the other Supreme Court justices shall be appointed by the President acting on the advice of the Judicial Council.
Now wait, shall be what?
Appointed by the President.
Fantastic. Shall be appointed by the President. Did you read it? So finish the article. Sorry.
Acting on the advice of the Judicial Council, in consultation with the Council of State and with the approval of Parliament.
Okay. So in the superior wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, they gave everybody his role. Council of State, advice. No, consult, Council of State. Advice by the Judicial Council. Appointed by the President. Approved by Parliament. So everybody had been given a distinct job. Article 144 that you just read, is there any mention of the Chief Justice?
No.
Is there any mention?
No, not at all.
Is that not the case? So that unsolicited letter from the Chief Justice, what is it supposed to achieve? 2, who chairs the Judicial Council? Is it not the Chief Justice?
Yes.
What's the role of the Judicial Council? To advise. So if the Judicial Council is to advise, and the chair of that council is the one proposing the name, does it not undermine the advice?
Yeah.
The essence of the advice is to give independent, right, fair, unbiased advice to the President. In fact, in one particular Agbevo and the Attorney General, the Supreme Court said the Judicial Council is such a unique body that in the overall scheme of affairs, it is made up of the creme de la creme. The idea is that imagine a situation where I'm a client. I come to you, Senator. Senator, I want to go and buy a property. You are my lawyer. Advise me whether I should buy that property or not. Advise me on the due diligence and all those matters. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, if it turns out that, Senator, you are the owner of the property, what would be the nature of the advice? Senator, why are you laughing?
Of course, I'll give you all the reasons you need to buy the property.
So if the chair of that council is the one writing and proposing the names, what becomes of her advice? Sena, can you rely on it? In all good conscience. What are we doing this to this country? Look, I have personally appeared before the judges that have been named. Look, Senani, you know me. We've worked for a while. You know I'm a fair-minded person. Right? See, I've appeared before the judges there. In fact, the only one I think I've not appeared so far before, right, is Asante, Edward Asante.
Okay.
Yes, because by the time I started practice, he had been at the ECOWAS court. I did the Republic versus Mahama Yaga and others before Justice Ifya. Right? She acquitted Mahama Yaga on the submission of no case. I was Mahama Yaga's lawyer. Right? I have done other similar. I'm currently doing a two-person before her. Right?
Yes.
Good. I've done other matters. Justice before I did NCA before him. Right?
Yeah.
I've done other civil matters before him. These are fairly good judges. Right? But if the process of bringing your name out is flawed, it affects you. Correct?
Yeah.
When you get food, what food does is that it cures hunger. Correct?
Yeah.
But immediately the food is stolen, it becomes problematic. Correct? It doesn't change the fact that it will cure your hunger. Or and you see, we in the NDC are particularly worried because of the sensitive role of our Supreme Court. I'll give you a classic example. You see, there are senior judges at the Court of Appeal, right?
Yeah.
You have the likes of Justice Senyo Jamefe. You have the likes of Justice Dennis, among others, very senior judges of the Court of Appeal. So now, if you read the CJ's letter, do you have a copy?
Yes, I do. I'm looking at one currently.
At the bottom, what does she say of those judges? Can you read it out? The tail end.
Okay. The remaining 4 judges are currently working as judges of the Court of Appeal. Their work has been distinguished by outstanding service, courage, and competence. Good.
So the senior judges there who didn't make it up, does it suggest their work lacks courage, competence, and service? Sena. Now, so when these things happen, it creates an impression that you have to be a favorite of someone. Is it the case?
Radio station you can call your own.
This becomes problematic. This does not even create effective work relationship among judges. Correct. I say no more.
Well, just a brief comment on the choice of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh. I have a guest in studio this morning. So, what do you think?
When liability meets liability, what is it?
When liability meets liability.
Yes.
I haven't seen that equation before.
This one, it cannot even be quadratic equation. This is a disaster, and we are pleased with this choice. We are exceedingly pleased with this choice. Now, so now listen carefully. You have a situation where your Minister of Education, students say, our schools do not have places of convenience. And the ministerial response to that need of students is that when you are faced with a need to ease yourself, all you need is black polythene bags. Abba. All you need is black polythene bag. Understand the students now call black polythene bag Napo. How? Look, this is a minister. Listen carefully. This is a minister who goes to sit on live radio program and says that if his own government makes provision for persons affected by tidal waves through no fault of theirs, he was going to lead a demonstration against them. I have never seen tribal bigotry, right, openly manifested or openly manifest in this manner before. You are a minister, your own government. So assuming that there's even flat in Ashanti reading, the Minister for Western Housing is your colleague Ashanti MP from Bantama. You pick a call and say, MP, even you are a cabinet minister. So, Minia, make provision for flood victims in Kumasi. How does it stop the minister from making equal provision for the people of Rekusu, Keta, and Aflau? How? Tell me, Senna. No, so a man, listen carefully, who can say this openly, can you imagine what else he is saying in the dark? And so imagine such a person becoming the vice president and the chairman of the economic management team. Senna, he will discriminate, he will marginalize. Napo is a disaster. Napo is so dangerous for the peace and unity of this country. Since 1992, I have seen politicians talk reckless. I have never seen, in fact, in the case of Napo, his unmitigated disaster. But you see, Senna, I ask, look at the personality of Professor Jenana, academia, public service. No, Senna, we should be very careful. Look at Professor Jenana, as a young lecturer, University of Kekus, went through the ranks and became Vice Chancellor, the first female Vice Chancellor of a public university. What more when you talk about public service than this? She didn't end it there. Became Minister for Education. No, Senator, please. If we are talking about public service, what more do you expect from a person who have dedicated herself to the service of this country, lecturing, to the point that she became Vice Chancellor? So, Professor Jenana is an embodiment of public service. How do you compare Professor Jenana to this reckless, unmitigated disaster of Napo? I'm asking you. I'm asking you. And that is why I prefix my conversation by saying that this is a liability paired with liability. The end result is disaster. In the coming days, we are going to demonstrate beyond doubt that not only is Napo a reckless loose talker, but also a tribal bigot of monumental proportion. We'll unwrap him, we'll remove the wrap, and by the time we are done with a surgical operation on him, is he not the guy who said students and parents who drunk at the Independence Square were passed by John Mahama?
Lawyer, we'll have to leave it there. I will be waiting for.
No, wait.
We'll be waiting for that. Time is not my friend.
I know, just 30 seconds.
Okay.
At the time when Radio Gold, you were all suffering with the intermittent power challenges. When your colleague journalist approached Napo, what was his response? That you, Senna. In fact, your sister, what's her name? Nancy.
Yeah.
She complied with Napo's directive and created her own doomsday timetable for Dansuma and his environment. I read it on her Facebook page. I say no more. Enjoy your weekend.
The same to you. That's like Godwin Tamekloe, Director of Legal of the National Democratic Congress. Like I said, my guest in studio this morning, economic policy and financial analyst. Focus in Jokoto.
Thank you, Sana.
Good morning.
And good morning.
How are you?
Very well.
Nice to have you in studio.
In the midst of all the hardships, left and right center.
Because and it's nice to have you this morning. And I'm wondering to you whether you think, based on the difficulties we have, that's just a starting point. That you see efforts by the people who currently are in the major parties, also in the smaller parties, to put forward a ticket that reflects a readiness to tackle the issues we are confronted with.
I will say, Senator, that question squarely goes to the sitting government, of course. They are the ones we pay our taxes to. They are still collecting our taxes. But it just looks like they have checked out. And there's no effort. Nothing is being done to reduce the hardship that Ghanaians are facing, especially cost of living, which is the most difficult aspect of where we are right now. Workers, unemployed people, and if you look at the labor statistics, the multidimensional poverty that we have in the country, it is crazy. And the only thing this government is thinking about is breaking the 8. And if they talk about, it's no longer about winning elections based on votes, based on what they have done, based on issues. No, they are talking about strategy. And that strategy, we are going to unveil it for them. And they should wait for it. Before they implement it, we will unveil it and launch it for them.
How they intend to win
they win the election. Because for all intents and purposes, my brother, it is not about vote from Ghanaians. It is not about the work they have done that people will say, we will give you another term to go. No.
Do you see the Napo being made running mate as in line with, or a furtherance of that strategy, like in line with that strategy?
It is. So the idea, if somebody tells you that MPP does not know that Napo is negative or a baggage, as Lawyer Duji has said, it's a lie. They are squarely aware.
Napo is a negative.
It's a negative. It is a baggage. As long as it comes to winning an election, when it comes to work that has been done, we've checked his records at the Ministry of Education. We have the worst implementation of this free SHS. Check his record at the Ministry of Energy. Under him, that decision came back. That is the same ministry that was left with excess of power. It turned around that ministry, by the time he is made vice president, cannot even give us power. So what work has it done? But looking at all this, my brother, it goes back to the plan of the MPP to win an election. It's not because Napo is the best candidate they can have. It has nothing to do with that. If best candidate, there are very equally qualified, very efficient, intelligent, and competent people in the MPP than Napo. The fact is that because he comes from the Ashanti and he's from Menchia, and in order to appease their base, if you listen to Samia Uku yesterday on your sister station, City, he said it clearly that in order to appease the party's base in Ashanti, where is their stronghold, they needed. So it is not about somebody who is coming to solve Ghana's problem. So if it is about somebody competent, hardworking, understanding the issue facing Ghana in order to come and solve Ghana's problem, then forget about it, because the MPP is aware. It has nothing to do with that. Let me send you back a little before we even go to our main issues. When Bawumia was unveiled, did you hear the speech of the current president, Nana Addo? Nana Addo said the party did not subscribe to the idea of him bringing Dr. Bawumia. But he brought Dr. Bawumia because he understands the economy. So from day one, the idea of what Bawumia is coming to do was clear. And he took it on, just that he failed at it. Did you hear anything being said about what Napo is coming to do, as long as this slot is concerned? It's zero. So that should tell you, the signal is clear. It is not because they want to solve Ghana's problem. It's to maintain power and abuse it and impoverish Ghanaians and capture this country. That is just the idea.
Maintain power.
Exactly.
Abuse it.
Abuse it and impoverish Ghanaians.
And capture this country.
And capture the country. That is the agenda of the MPP. What is the property owning democracy they keep talking about? Anyway.
I see. Nice to have you in studio once again.
Thank you, Sarah.
Very, very interesting. In fact, the things that have happened this week, and I would just like to bring one to your attention, because there are many issues to talk about when it comes to the how the economy is run. One of them is this idea by the Trade and Industry Minister, who looks at cement prices and says, "No, there's a need to regulate it. I want to pass a law." I know when you do economic analysis and finance and everything, I know you can tell where the problem is coming from.
Exactly so.
Is the problem a lack of regulation that people just name any price they like?
You see, the minister has a track record.
Mm-hmm.
The moment he was made minister a few months ago, the first thing he brought up is to legislate imports.
Yeah.
You see, Katie Hammond does not understand trade. He doesn't understand economy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't understand the interplay of economic issues.
Mm.
He's a trained lawyer, but at least he should make an effort to understand the issues. And there are very technical people at the Trade Ministry who can advise him if he will take it. To legislate import, that was the first thing. In order to do what? Regulate importation of some items. It is not done. And the approach he was using was wrong. It even affects the international trade agreement and stuff. So it is the same person. Suddenly, cement prices are going up. Instead of looking at the underlying issue that are making the prices of cement to go up, he said, "Want to go and legislate pricing." It doesn't work. In what we call the free market economy, there's interplay of supply and demand. Okay. That is what informs pricing. If there is shortage and people want more, price will go up. And the reverse is also true.
Okay.
But if you legislate cement pricing, what is happening? From 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, we have had the highest inflation rate in decades. It went to 54%. It has repercussion on what? Pricing of goods and services. That is why the cost of living is where we are. Okay. The cedi has depreciated consistently. In fact, in 2021, April up to 2022, mid-2022, the cedi depreciated more than 50%.
Okay.
Subsequently, last year, the cedi depreciated about 20-something percent, 22-point-something percent. This year, the cedi has almost, just halfway through the year, has almost depreciated more than 20%. Okay. Clinker, that is the base of production of what? Cement. Is imported. In the absence of that, the port fees and charges have gone up to the extent that at a point in time, the whole port was empty. People were not even being able to import. So, first, people are losing capital because if you are a cement production company and you brought in, let's say, $1 million to, and at that time, when you started business, the cedi to the dollar was 4. And today, it's 16. You have lost almost 70% of that capital. Okay. And you have to produce and sell in cities. And all these fees, electricity and water bill have gone up because according to the IMF, we have something they call the weighted average increment in electricity and water. So every other quarter, electricity and water goes up.
Okay.
It is affecting the manufacturers. Now, with all these fundamental issues that the businesses are facing, and they have to sell at a price that they can recoup the cost of production. You say you do not understand it, but you want to go and legislate the price so that you will determine how much they should sell their products. Who does that? Meanwhile, you can go and say, okay, this is what you are facing. And in fact, in this legislation, let me leave that, I'll come back to it. Instead of looking at the fundamental, what is going wrong? And for God's sake, it is not only cement prices that is going up. The prices of everything has gone up. This thing used to be selling 1 cedi, 20 pesos.
But initially it was 1 cedi. Just 1 cedi.
Today, if you don't have 3 cedis, you can't get it. That's 200% price increase. So, why cement? The question is, why cement? The cost of beans, the cost of maize. In the last 5 years, the cost of maize has increased more than 500%. Why is it not legislating the price of maize? Then we should legislate the price of everything and bring back control prices and bring back Kalabule and the rest. Because that is exactly what the trade minister wants to do. But is that how to manage an economy that is already in crisis? It is not done. Or rather.
I will take a break. When we come back, we'll go back and look at what needs to be done in terms of, then we'll talk about the IMF program within the context, because the IMF on was it Monday or Tuesday? There was a press conference was held where they talked about the latest review and what Ghana is looking like and everything. So we'll talk about that in the context of even the issue of pricing and everything that Katie Hammond wants to deal with.
Do you know what listeners like about our station? It's everything.
I like everything. I love Radio Gold 90.5. Feel every taste, never spread.